See, the way the marriages are being done, it involves a lot of people. So by the time things are going wrong, people only come and tell you, make it work. But the reason it's not working in any way. But in the process, who get to suffer the most is actually the woman. I'm the one being beaten. I'm the one, not being taken care of. But people were still telling you, stay. My name is Yar Makuei. I'm a South Sudanese. I grew up during the war, the intense time. So I was actually born in Rumbek. My first few years I spent them in Khartoum because by then my grandfather was there until I was about 10 years. Then now I was returned back now to my father. My father by then was in Kenya. So that's how I moved now to Kenya at that time. So I started my school in Kenya. That's where I actually finished my primary, my high school. And after that, that's when I got married. I grew up in Kenya like a typical South Sudanese young girl. You see, for us, for most South Sudanese, especially my community, the Dinka community, you're brought up in a way that you must be married decently, you must bring certain amount of cows, because my mom's marriage was a big deal. So they wanted mine also to be the same. So when I was growing up, that's the thing you'll be told. Yes, you want you to go to school, but at the end of the day, you have to be married. When I reached high school, I saw a lot of men were coming to ask for my hand in marriage. They were coming through actually my father at that time. So, but my father insisted that I have to finish first high school. So immediately after I finished, now these other guys came up. Unfortunately, most of them were from outside. It's only my ex-husband that was within. If my wedding was done, it was a good one. It was a beautiful wedding. I was this bride on a horse. So after my marriage, we moved to Nairobi, because by then he was working with an NGO. And immediately, the good thing, he enrolled me to the university. So I joined immediately University of Nairobi. And immediately I also I got pregnant, I think within the same year. There were two types of dreams. There were dreams from my family and there were my own dreams. My family wanted me to get married in a decent way. So I decided to combine both. I give them the decency they want, and I have to be in school. So I wanted to be this modern woman who is able to, educate herself and be able to take care of her children and be able to contribute something to our family. After I got married, we moved in together with his siblings at that time. And he wasn't around. And that one, makes it even more difficult now. Because he was working. Yes, he was able to provide. He was able to pay for all our school fees, pay for the house and everything. I remember at that time, he told me clearly that, you see, he wanted to educate his siblings. And at the same time, he wanted to educate me. So whatever resources that were there, they were going to be scarce. The first challenge that I was able to face actually in my marriage was the fact that I married a breadwinner. So when things were difficult, when things were hard, they would blame me because I was the one now in the house. So he would send me money. And sometimes he would tell me he's having this challenge because he's paying 1, 2, 3 school fees. I could see clearly. So I was able to understand that. But the people living with me in the house didn't understand that because they wanted a certain type of lifestyle in the house. And him not being there made even things worse because he did not see what I was going through. These people had their own demands, which I was not able to provide. And whenever I was not providing, they would check things, report things to him. So in the beginning, we would fight over these things. Things have been reported, things have been said. So I decided, instead of being frustrated and fighting all the time, I put all my energy now on my schoolwork, so that I'm able to, to continue with my school, because I knew I was foreseeing a situation where, these fights could get out of hand. We had 4 kids with him. By then I was pregnant with my 4th child. So my second born was diagnosed with autism. It really became a big challenge to us because that was something very new. Autism is a condition that affects the behavior of a child. So a child will not be able to behave like these other normal kids. So it affects their speech and their behavior. So my second born was diagnosed with that autism. And then immediately my third born also became sick at that time. He was having just the normal diarrhea and vomiting, and he was admitted in the hospital in the ICU. So by the time we were being discharged, the child lost his eyesight. So that's when we started having really serious issues. So they felt like it was my problem. So at that time, he decided also to also marry. he married his ex-girlfriend. And if that is the case, I will not chase you away because my culture doesn't allow me to divorce a woman of 4 children. But I will just let you be. You want to stay, you stay. If you want to go, you go. And you know, at that time, I was still very much in love with my husband and I couldn't accept. You can imagine at that time you're dealing with children with conditions, your husband is marrying, but you still want to hold on, you're still fighting to be there. And people are fighting you, left, right, and center. Okay, it reached a point they moved out of my house, all of them. I was only left there with my children. But sometimes they will still come, and abuse me in my own house, telling me all sorts of things, this woman with black womb, you see, we have never seen such a cursed womb that can only give birth to children with conditions. A lot, they still pain me. Yes, that, sometimes I talk about them right now and they don't pain, but those days, I would cry. But right now, I'm over them because it's God who gives children. We don't make them. But if God has given them to you, you just take them as they are. He was able to move back to Kenya. That's why now he started working now in Mombasa. He got some job there. So at that time, he took the children with him and his other woman, and then he left me in Juba. So he started telling my people to take me. They told him, of course, culturally, they have a way of doing their own things. If you have an issue with your wife, you come in with your people. And then if you're going to return her, maybe to her family, it's his uncles that actually supposed to return me. But there's no way you can be making phone calls from Kenya and start telling my people, go and take your daughter. So my people refused to take me. And at that particular time, I knew I was already trapped. Because my children were taken away from me, I was left here in Juba alone, and they wanted me now to get rid of me. So I said I will not live like that. If they have an issue with me, it will be done through the family. Because at least through the family, the issues of the children will come in, and whether this marriage is still going to stay or not, it will come in. But if I just live on my own, no one will come in later. No one will take responsibility for me. So I decided I'll stay at that time. So when he realized that he was not able to push me out of his house, he decided now to use his siblings. So they were started now telling them, now the big brother, to chase me out of the house. So they decided, they'll frustrate me. Sometimes they will beat me up, and every time they will beat me up. And at that time, I got really stressed up. So I decided the only thing that I would do was concentrate on church. So I would, after work, I would go to church. If there are church activities, I would go. I used to pray a lot because that time I was realizing I was losing my children. There was no more marriage. This guy is not supporting me. I was just on my own. So he decided now to come physically himself. And he came, I remember he came all the way from Mombasa. It was on a Sunday. I had gone to church. Then I came home. Then I was preparing supper at that time. So I saw him. He came in with his brothers. They came and then they called me and they told me, you're going back to your parents' house. And I knew, of course, that's not how things are done. If I'm to be taken back, it's not them who will take me. It's the uncles who will take me. So I just asked him, now that you want me to leave the house, what about my children? He decided he slapped me. I was just seated on a chair. He slapped me until I fell down. He said, which children? The children you abandoned. I told him, when did I abandon my children? It's you who took them away from me. I didn't abandon my children. I never left your home and then came back. I never. In fact, it is you that was pushing me out of my own house. He started beating me up. He beat me up really, kicking me, slapping me all over. After being beaten, I was just there down. So they came, they carried me, him and the brother. The brother came and carried me by my legs. And now my ex-husband was carrying me on my shoulders, and they were carrying me outside to put me inside the car. Because his brothers, they came and they took all my bags from my room, they put them inside the car, and they were just waiting to beat me up properly so that I'm not able to resist. Then they put me inside the car. So I went, they carried me, and I think I became heavy or something. They went and threw me outside the compound. And you see there's a lot of stones and everything. They started pulling me. By the time I was coming, and my back, all my clothes were torn. I was just having wounds all over. So when my uncles came back in the evening, they found me there. I was just bleeding all over. All my clothes were torn. So they took me to the hospital. Of course, the hospital people, they refused to treat me. They said that they wanted a report from the police. So we had to go to the police. So we were given the form. That's when now they came and I was treated. They cleaned my wounds and I was given injections. I was still in pain. So after that, of course, the police took it up. They went, they arrested them. Something funny now, he started now going around telling people I wanted to kill him. That became now a police case, honestly. So eventually when I was separated from my children, I was not able even to talk to them. I don't talk to them. I don't see them. It hit me. And I've been going to Mombasa to go and see them. And you know, every time I go there, I could see my children are always being given the last. My children are always being, they're not given priority in the house. The people given priority are the children of this other woman. The only time I considered divorce was during the death of my child. So at that time, my child died. He died in a swimming pool. So when I lost my child, no one ever informed us as a family. But you know, me as a mother, because this is my child, I felt something was not right that day. So it was actually my firstborn birthday. So they were taken out for an outing. So in the process there, one of them drowned, and that was my third born. I remember his people came home on Monday. They came on Monday evening, now to come inform us officially, and the child died on Sunday. When they came, they told us, you know, they were going to bury the child on Wednesday. And at that time, that was the height of COVID. So there was a lot of travel restriction. So we could not travel immediately. And I knew he didn't even care whether I was going to see my child for the last time or not. So at that time, I moved to the court, the Kenyan court, to stop the burial, so that at least I'm able to be part of it. We actually reached Mombasa on Friday. So I realized this person didn't care. He was only busy with arranging on how to bury the child. So at that time, it hit on me that I must accept the divorce. Yes, marriages are not easy, but it should never go to an extent where people are being physical with you, where in fact other people are being used now to abuse you. And I know here, especially in our community, people always feel, you see, marriage is just there for people to suffer. No, there are other marriages and people are enjoying them. People can differ. Things can come up, but you can still respect one another. You can still, you know, tolerate one another in a way that they will feel they're valued in that house. You're not anybody's punching bag, so don't allow it.
Asunta ejuru menyel yak. Kujili nyandugam. Kwa kujen kitokaran, kichieng long tuyo kuj. Mandi bajagam. Kwa bijala chengetene. Ukuden bijala yogetene, bijala yoka yang chimi chen nyanwan madu man chen ni yang la yoga. Ana dia pore. Kumonye ay monye chung niar. Ichirana ban niar kujetin de nyai lo rede. Kagana ne jajam. Pinya. Bang moy kang yala det. Ran binyan dula mu. Ko bela duktu no. Bi kanga det ama men te chiengene tin be bai chieng kadi.
A problem with the abusers, they want to do things and they don't want you to go and tell, because I don't think there's anyone who will be comfortable being discussed outside there. So if it happens, talk to someone, even if it is their relatives, talk to somebody, because even me, that's one thing that affected me in the beginning. You know, I would keep things because I was brought up to believe that you keep things, you know, things of the home, you don't take them out, they're supposed to remain within. One thing I know, and I think even from our communities, they always feel like when things go wrong in a relationship, they always feel that it is the woman. But it takes two to tango. This marriage is for the two. It's for two of you to work towards it, for it to work. Even if I work on it alone and the other person is not working, it won't go anywhere. The same thing with the man. If he's also working on the marriage and the woman is not also willing to work on it, it doesn't work. It takes two people. For the parents, they should really try to invest in their daughters so that in case things don't work out, they're able to still to come and stand on their own. And once they're on their own, they'll not be a burden to you as a parent, and they'll not be a burden to anybody. They're able to shoulder the responsibility and be able to stand on their own. But the moment you stand on your own and you're able to take care of yourself, trust me, no one will force you to stay in a situation that is not favoring you, to stay in an abusive situation, no one. Because they know at the end of the day, you're able to take care of yourself. Me, I never thought I would be fine, but right now I'm okay.